We'll be here to help supply you with those responses. So any more questions right now? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
I was just going to ask if you've seen the film Carbonation.
I have not.
Okay.
Should I?
You should see the film Carbonation. It is an optimistic view of why people can do, whether or not they believe in climate change. And it also shows a lot about the military. It's very impressive.
Have you looked at Masdar City? This is a project in the United Arab Emirates where they're trying to build a sustainability city from scratch. And if you think about it, we built our cities for certain purposes. Our cities are car habitat. Our cities are very inefficient for moving goods and services around. And so, how would you build a city if you built it from scratch with considerations for sustainability? And that's what we're trying to do. It's a very fascinating project. It's got some financial problems right now.
What is it?
Called Masdar. MASDAR. Very interesting project. Yes?
Two short questions. The first is, when you're setting goals with measurables, do you go out multiple years and work backwards? That's what Peter's saying, he likes doing it that way. I like doing it that way. Just one of your thoughts on that. And then the second is engaging the organization. Often people have to admit, like, the way we've been doing it, the resistance usually comes from the way we've been doing it. We've been doing it that way. And so we have to kind of look in the mirror and admit in a way. People struggle with that. I wonder what kind of work you do with organizations to peel away some of those layers, like to make room for the vision, to make room for this new way of doing stuff.
Right. I mean, I'll start with the second question first, because I'm in the organization of the Behavior Department in Michigan. And that's what I focus on, is inertia. People don't like to change, and it can happen very fast. I teach in a classroom. Everyone takes their first seat their first day. By the second day, they're cemented to that seat. And then on the third day, if I did say, okay, everyone get up and change your seat, people would not want to do it. People just don't like to change. So they protect the status quo because they think that all change is going to hurt and change is going to be bad for me. And so you have to recognize that and start to work through it. So that the first step in any change program is unfreezing, getting people to break the patterns that they had before. So on climate change, you know, some of the issues you're facing are technological, some of them are behavioral. You know, the beer store in Canada delivers beer around the country, and the drivers of the trucks were still letting them idle for 10 minutes at the end of the run, thinking that that's what they had to do to keep the trucks in good working order. And they had to teach people that you don't have to do that anymore, you just shut them down. And they saw huge savings there. So you really have to do, you really have to look at what are the inertial forces. They can take many forms. Fear of change. You know, it took me a long time to shift from a Mac or an IBM to a Mac. I just feared it, and then usually the risk perception is higher than the reality. There could be cost implications. Shifting out from an English to a metric system of your tools, that's going to cost you money. Or we become used to it. You all know that the keyboard you have on your computer is designed for a typewriter with hammers, where they deliberately move the most used keys further apart so that they won't jam. What they did was they deliberately made it less efficient. There is a Dvorak keyboard that goes in the middle, but we're so used to the keyboard as it is, it's hard to change. So recognizing this inertia is a critical part. And we can talk offline. There's a lot of strategies for doing that. In developing a target, there are two parts to it. What percent? What's the baseline year? And I generally find that the companies will talk around the business units, figure out what's feasible among them, and then start to think about a goal that stretches them and try to push them beyond what they think can be done, looking further out at what's possible, considering what strategies are necessary to get there, and then backing out, all the while keeping an eye on regulation. Because those are also two important metrics of what a regulation comes out. What's the baseline year? What's our target? What are we going to have to hit? You're going to want to make that jive, make those fit. So that's what I found companies doing.
And with that, thank you very much for your questions. Very insightful. Please pull out your program and find your next destination, either the Springer Suite or the social